Bandai Namco organizou um evento nos seus novos escritórios na Califórnia para mostrar os seus principais jogos para a imprensa mundial. E é claro que o Tekken estava por lá. Um dos grandes destaques foi Tekken 7, Fated Retribution. E vocês conferem agora o meu papo com Michael Murray, diretor de design de Tekken 7, e Katsuhiro Harada, diretor-geral da franquia Tekken. Bora lá!
First of all, thanks a lot, Murray, for this interview. Vou bem, e você? Domo arigato, Harada-san. So, we've seen some discussion about the publicity and availability of Tekken 7. First of all, there has been a change of grounds in all of the fighting game. Street Fighter V is not available on the arcades, where Tekken 7 is not available on the console right now. So, what made you guys choose this decision of publishing, and what can console Tekken fans expect for the future of the series?
今の新しい、ね、10歳ぐらいの人は知らないと思うんですけど、逆に言うと、昔の歴史を知ってる人は分かるように、昔は何でもアーケードからゲーム発信されていて、でストリートファイターはたまたま、4が出る10年間アーケード休んでいたので、もうアーケードからのリリースはしてないんですけど、鉄拳に関しては、ずっとこの20年間常にアーケードを出して家庭を出してアーケードを出して家庭を出してこの繰り返しを、今やってるので、たまたま、テッケン7に関しても、まだそういう状況にはあります。ただ、皆さんご存知の通りアーケードでブラッシュアップされたゲームが家庭用でよりいい形になって皆さんに提供されるっていうこのいい意味の伝統も守っているので、そこは皆さん期待しててください。
But can you guys talk anything about when will the game launch or anything about the version on console?
There's not a whole lot we can say about the console version at this moment. And as we were just talking about the cycle of the arcade, what you see here is Tekken 7 Fated Retribution, which hasn't even hit Japanese arcades yet. It's got a lot of balances to it, a lot of updates, a lot of major inclusions to the game system and characters as well. So we're still kind of in that phase before we make the jump to console. So we hope that everyone will watch what we've done, look forward to it, and also look forward to more console news in the future.
And when you guys jump to console, can the PC guys expect the first Tekken on the computer finally?
Well, there are some things we can talk about and some we can't. One thing we can mention though is if you're familiar with past Tekkens, we used to develop on the PlayStation hardware from the arcade, right? So it was much more difficult to port the game to different platforms. But from this time around, we shifted to the PC-based development. So we develop on PC, also using Unreal Engine 4. So although there's no decision at this moment regarding that, it's much easier than it has been in the past if we decide to do so. And it is something that we will consider.
And do you have any idea if Brazilian fans should expect some kind of localization of the title?
We haven't announced any of the languages we're doing for Tekken, but we always do tend to add some for each installment. And Brazilian Portuguese is one thing that we're considering, since there is quite a large fan base in Latin America and Brazil. And also, the company's focus on that particular region. So there is a good possibility you could see that.
Now, a lot of fans asked me to ask you guys this. What the hell happened to Lei?
レイは
レイウロン？
そう。
レイウロンはね、一つはやっぱりアーケードから発表してるっていうのはアーケードのユーザーってアーケードのユーザーというかコンペティターですよね。競技者としてまず鉄拳ってすごいやるプレイヤーの意見を最初にちょっと聞くんですけど、その中でもやっぱねレイウーロンって操作するのがすごく難しいキャラクターで、なかなか使用率も人気も今上がってきてない段階だから、もう少したくさんの意見が来ると僕らも考えやすいんですけど、今のところちょっと、みんなのオーディエンスが少ない状態なのが僕としては寂しいなって感じですね。
Of all the games in the world that you could imagine in VR, I think Tekken would be one of the last ones that you would imagine. Can you guys share anything that you're planning to do with the VR version of Tekken 7 that was announced?
So, in Japan, Harada is one of the first developers to actually start working on VR title in the form of Summer Lesson. So, early on, he did some experimenting with taking some character models and placing them in kind of a one-on-one fighting situation with you in the first person. But it didn't turn out to be. You were fighting Brian at that time, by the way, but it didn't turn out to be as exciting as someone would expect. Exactly, it's kind of jarring, and it's not something that was that great of a game from a game perspective. So he currently envisions it's more like when you look at Tekken and what the casual audience likes about it, it's the characters themselves, being able to see them not from first person, but from afar, to customize them, to see their animations and such. So maybe something along that line, like where you can kind of customize the character freely and watch their playback of the different animations and kind of enjoy it from that perspective rather than FPS type of style.
And now let's talk Akuma. In 5 years from now, in the future, will we see, in previous interviews you guys said that Street Fighter universe and Tekken is not completely integrated. But 5 years from now, will we see Akuma in Tekken 7 Fatal Retribution as a marketing stuff, or will we discuss of his role in the universe? How far deep into the Tekken universe is the Akuma role in this game? Is it a marketing stuff, or now Akuma is a part of the Mishima story?
Well, it's difficult because he is a Capcom IP, so whether he, how involved he is in the storyline, and that's something we'll see later on. But it isn't really a marketing ploy. It's more like when you think of from a, because we're fighting game fans ourselves, when you think of that kind of feeling from a fighting game fan, what would you want to see in the title? What would be fun to try out? So for us, Goki, or in outside of Japan, Akuma, is something that kind of fit that. And then the first step is to try to match expectations of the fans, that if we did this, how would it be done? But then the second step is to go beyond that and to try to create more, to surprise everyone, to kind of go beyond their expectations. So not really a marketing ploy, it's more like from fighting game creator standpoint, what would you want to try that fighting game fans would love? Are they happy with the outcome and how the method that it was implemented?
Okay, so is Akuma a test and a tease for Tekken Cross Street Fighter?
鉄拳クロスストリートファイター自体の検証っていうのはとっくの昔にももう終わっていて、どちらかというとそれこそマーケティングの観点の方が強いかな。鉄拳クロスストリートファイターってやっぱりストリートファイタークロス鉄拳っていうのがあって、であれはやっぱりどっちかというと狙ってたのはストリートファイターのファンと鉄拳のファンが両方盛り上がる仕組みだったはずが、新しいストリートファイタークロス鉄拳っていうファンを生み出してしまって、である意味両方のコミュニティが融合しなかったんですね。なのと、あともうタイミング的にストリートファイター5が出ちゃうし、うちらも鉄拳7を出すってことで、結構そのリリースのタイミングとかマーケティングに考えたらユーザーがね、どっちをプレイしていいか分かんないって状況になってしまうのは問題なので、それこそちょっと我々今、現時点では、ポーズしてるというかペンディングしてるというか状態なんですよね。
So I really expect for that Tekken Cross Street Fighter win. And now my final question for both of you: what is your favorite fighting game of all time, and it cannot be made by Namco?
一番好きな格ゲーは何だったのか。で、ナムコ製品はダメだよ。
サムライショーダウンかな。他社のゲームだと。
The first one or two?
1と2どっちも好きだけど、一番やったのは格闘ゲームとして一番やったのは2かな。
It's tough for me. It'd probably be a toss-up between the Real Bout 2, the Fatal Fury series, which I owned on Neo Geo, but also the Guttle, the Mark of Wolves, was one of my favorites as well. So probably Mark of Wolves, I would say.
Oh, great. Pessoal, esse aí é o Tecmundo aqui no Open House da Bandai Namco, com o diretor do Tekken 7, Michael Murray, e com a lenda Katsuhiro Harada. Murray, thank you so much. Harada, hontou ni domo arigatou gozaimashita.
Obrigado.